be kind enough, who isn't on a lap, to let us know that you can hear us. That would be the first port of call. So let me have a look at the live streams. Today, 6:45. Today. There we go. Can we hear you?
Can we hear me? That's the question.
There we go. Can we hear you?
Can we hear me? That's the question.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Perfect.
There we go. There we go. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. It was we're not really 100% sure of what happened there. We've both checked settings, and obviously it works now. So I'd love to tell you what it was, but we haven't missed. Quite funnily, we actually haven't missed tons because Aguapo's still on pole, Chill's in second, Harry F is still in third. I mean, I thought that almost Demort sneaks into third place, which is going to be. He just needs to keep Chill somewhere near him, really, for this race. But I would anticipate he'd be ahead of him because, just for context, Chill was on pad and Demorts is on wheel. This is always lent to be a bit more of a wheel track than a pad track, in my opinion. But
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think, especially with the fast sweeping turns, I think it definitely has helped. But I think especially on this game as well, let's not forget, obviously, with the traction and the problems that we have had, it can make things harder. Obviously, as you see Guapo go 43.2 up to pole position once again on a faster time. But as we were discussing before as well, obviously there is some rain expected in this race, so we are expecting some different types of setups. We're not expecting the fastest times from everybody in this qualifying session, because of course, with that said, there is a bit of rain. We want to kind of have the perfect middle ground for that setup going into the race, really. But yeah, just a quick introduction to myself, of course, as well. Obviously, I'm sure most of you all know me as Oxide Nova, but my name is Patrick. Appreciate the opportunity here to be commentating alongside Mark tonight. Obviously, I know it's my first time. Obviously, Jess is away on holiday. But absolute pleasure to be here with you, mate.
yeah, no, this is hopefully one of many, because
Absolutely.
it will be especially going into a new game, which I think a lot of people really are quite needing at this point. You're a very lucky man, very refreshed, fresh-faced from it all, but I think there's a few that are a bit fatigued with this one. And do you know what? I hate all that normally, because it happens every game cycle. Of course it does. But this game, even from I don't know how much you've seen, and even on other leagues like PSGL and that side of things, you can tell the fatigue has been there for some of the biggest leagues, not just the smaller kind of more boutique leagues like us. So
I think as a driver myself as well, I think coming back into it, I think it's exactly like you say, just having that kind of fresh face mentality for myself. But obviously looking at drivers like this, you guys have been doing it for nearly a year now. Absolutely right. I think everybody really wants that kind of new game, fresh game, ready to go with improvements, less glitches, less bugs, and just more fun. I think that's the same for everybody, commentators, racers, and everyone alike. So, yeah, hopefully from F1 23, which obviously comes out June 15th, I believe, if anybody doesn't know that yet. Hopefully we'll have a lot more fun on that game, a lot less problems with traction and bugs and glitches, and obviously get League of Europe back, and of course, more competitive as well. So, hopefully that comes in. Obviously 2 minutes left of the session. I think we'll get full, man.
It's hard to look past the Guapo, isn't it, really? He's clearly not worried about that little dash of rain, and I don't think Chill is, actually. I would suspect with that kind of time. I'm so shocked to see him up there in second place at not one of his strongest tracks. But the first person over the line to do the last lap will be J. Luke, going from my calculations. So we're right on board with him. 13th place at the moment for him. The worst of the times, I would suspect that is not particularly representative. He's had a few issues, but he's going to get potentially a bit of slipstream accidentally from one of the McLarens. He's timed this lap almost slightly awkwardly, I would argue, because he's going to, I'm sure everyone will get out of the way fairly easily, but he's going to have to cut through a tiny bit of traffic, which isn't normally in leagues. Normally people are pretty good at getting out of the way.
Oh, that's round.
There we go. Traffic's not, he is now going to become the traffic. And the only good news he has is that he can probably get round for another bite at it.
Yeah, I think so. About, 1 minute 30 left, maybe 1 minute 40, he could definitely get round if he's got enough fuel in the car. But that is not what he needs today. Luke, obviously, of course, the Alpha Tauri. But obviously quite a few people who've not set lap times as well, let's not forget. So they need to make sure this last lap is everything that they want it to be. Maybe they were waiting to see what kind of setup everybody else was using, because of course, like I said about that rain coming in the race, maybe they wanted to see if everyone was running higher wings for that moment, or they were just seeing if everyone was running normal strategies. But obviously, it looks like we have a bit of a mixed bag, really. So, yeah, let's see what the last four can do as well.
Absolutely is. I think it's Ben Scott now who is going to be the first person over the line on a valid lap. Looking a little bit, I don't know, just looks pretty messy from my point of view, but I'm really intrigued to see what time he's going to come over at. Obviously, nothing to compare it to, no delta to go off. Second gear through there, oof, yeah. It doesn't surprise me going second there. The traction's awful out of that corner as it is. But that he won't be happy with that. As Connor Keith now coming over the line for a representative time. Wow, good sorts of fellas. Yeah, good lap. And then Cam, I think. Might be a McLaren that I've missed, but Cam is next. Oh no, sorry, apologies, he's starting a lap. Julie Show is invalid. And then we have Whites by Y, who I think, again, a lot of them are actually this is their start of their actual lap, so we need to try and adjust exactly where everyone is. If we miss anyone's lap, apologies. There's Ryan Bean in the Alfa Romeo. So I think you've actually managed to get away with it this week. There are 2 Ryan Beans in this division. As he just like
there's a spinner at Lecom. Looks into the Williams. Who was it? I think it was Luke. Was it Luke? I believe so. I think he's crashed out. It was actually in the Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
Don't tell a lie. I do apologise. We have a Mercedes off as well. Of Ben Scott. What is going on here? He spun it round, exit of the Lecom chicane. Obviously, it's so easy to do. But obviously, we've got people coming up to the line now. Last minute of qualifying, but everyone needs to finish their laps now. We have a lot of laps going ahead, but a lot of mistakes as well.
D Mortz is invalid. That is absolutely huge. So he will not improve. And YHYY is only 6 thousandths down. If he can find some time in either Sector 2 or Sector 3, amongst anyone else, is Connor there, just with I think Connor might be out of this, just like going from his, he's out of this.
Rappo's invalidated as well.
Wow, so depends what Chill can do. This doesn't know.
Chill's on a slow lap. It's on a slow lap. No one's improving.
Not a single person. Oh, I tell you who is improving is YHYY, who seems to be at least coming up to 4 temps up. So this could be enough for second, unless he did an absolutely mammoth mistake in the last corner. I don't think it'll be enough for first.
Right. If he can get that traction right coming out the final chicane, who knows possible, because Guapo, we do know, has been having traction problems. What gear is he using? He's using second gear. That's always dangerous, but going up to the line looks like it could be enough for the front row.
Ooh.
Oh, P3, not bad attempt at all. Not a bad attempt. But yeah, the grid is much more mixed up than we would have expected. I mean, QVR Chill as well, P4. I think he'll be happy with that, you know. I really do think he'll be happy with that. Obviously, ahead of D Mortz as well, his championship rival. Yeah, I think it's a very mixed up grid, that. Very mixed up grid, considering the rain's coming as well. I think this definitely could be an interesting race. I really do believe it can. Obviously, Guapo at the top, he must be running more of a drier setup than everybody else, so watch him during the wet weather that happens during the race. But qualifying session over, it's Guapo on pole.
Yeah, great lap from him, and again, definitely one of the quicker guys in the division. But the big shock for me is Cam K. You don't normally see him qualify very well in this division. I've raced with him before, and qualifying isn't normally his strong suit. He's normally quite towards the back, no matter what division he's raced in. So that is a real outlier. And Ryan Belshaw actually as well, being up there. And Connor O'Keefe definitely has pace, but seeing D Mortz down in 7th is a shocker.
That is surprising.
Yeah, well, the pressure, it's just one of those things. It's, depends what it means to different people, but you can get a bit tense when you think I could actually win a league racing kind of title, depending on your outlook of things. But it wouldn't surprise me if you just tensed up a tiny bit.
It can be very hard. I mean, in my past experience as well, obviously talking back into the Stone Age now, of course, when I used to league race properly back in the day. Going for a championship, it can be draining. Honestly, in my opinion, being the person chasing the leader has always been more fun and always been something where you make less mistakes. And we've seen that throughout the season. Obviously, QVR Chill leading the championship, and now look at that. D Mort's gone through, and now obviously ahead of him now in the championship, and now D Mort's is making the mistakes. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. I think obviously having that championship lead, knowing that he can win this weekend, don't get me wrong, it could happen. It probably won't, but things usually happen in Formula One, so who knows? But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think having that championship lead, yeah, it's good. It's nice to have that kind of, that safety net. But at the same time, it can be hard. It can be hard.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And what you don't want in this situation when you're winning a championship is um, mixed conditions as well. You just want things to be as straightforward as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think like you're saying as well in terms of the mixed conditions, that's something that obviously is going to play into the hands of QVR Chill. Not for the reason that he's better in the rain at all, but just because obviously, like you said, D-Mortis has got everything to lose now. Let's not forget the gap is 20 points at the top of the championship now. He has nothing to lose, Chill. So he has everything to go for, whereas D-Mortis, he wants to conserve, he wants to take his time, he wants a nice, easy, dry race, but he's not going to get that today.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Look, you can already tell that there's rain in the air from the look of this very dreary paddock. Well, I am
Looking
amazed they
very, very
haven't.
cloudy.
Yeah, I'm amazed they haven't actually updated this paddock. It still gives me images of Michael Schumacher flying through in the wet, trying to basically take off David Coulthard's head for when he crashed when he crashed into him when Coulthard was a lap down. I think everyone has to remember.
Absolutely. Youth.
So wow, I'm really shocked by the tyre choice. I will say this: everyone on mediums, pretty much, other than three of the drivers, and what that leads me to believe is that all of them think there is going to be a safety car.
Must be. Must be. I mean, it depends, of course, when the rain comes as well, because obviously, as it says in that pit stop strategy there, mediums, they can go halfway through the race. I mean, don't get me wrong, they'll be hard to drive on, but they can go about 10 laps. If the rain comes before then, it could be a perfect choice, but you're absolutely right. I think most of them will be hoping for a safety car anyway, so of course they can get into the pits if needs be and get on tyres that will get into the rain period, or these mediums might stretch out for them. It could be a point of kind of no one knowing. It could be a case of, look, let's just get on the mediums because we don't know when the rain will come. But obviously we'll see when the race starts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, be really interested to see what the dynamic is between Cam K and Chill. Out of interest, how they're teammates, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't meet more chalk and cheese people if I tried. But they do seem to have a bit of a camaraderie. So, and Cam K's the guy that works out these permutations, so he's really invested in all this. As much as I kind of hope he doesn't do anything to, let him through a la Schumacher and Barrichello. Chill will definitely be very happy to see White YY, who's one of the cleanest drivers who's driven in this league for years, as well as his teammate ahead of him, and a couple of people as a buffer from him and D Morts.
No, definitely. I think it could come into that. Obviously, they've got a Williams in between them. Why not use it? You know what I mean? If they want it to go in the way of QBR Show, they need to start doing things like this to bring back the points in the championship. 20 points in 2 races is hard to bring back. As we see, she'll actually go off the track there at the exit of Stavolo. Oh, and what happened there? I think someone hit the barrier going through, so obviously they're really going for a lot of tyre warming there. But no, I think you're absolutely right. I think using the second car, if QVR Chill can get ahead of Cam K, I think that could be a very big play. I really do, and I think they'll have that. They'll have that in their back locker, because obviously if they can use him, like you say, like in the sense of, I know, Sergio Perez in Abu Dhabi 21 to kind of back up D Mort. Or of course, like you said, Barrichello Schumacher, obviously in Austria all those years ago. Oh, as one of the Alpines actually lose it on the way to the grid. That's not what they wanted. But they'll all be on the grid soon. With that said, though, I'm hoping it's a good race. I mean, obviously we've got the rain coming. It should be good. We've got a lot of drivers trying to warm up the tyres there, and they're going to soon be in their grid spots.
Cool.
Here we go. Let's have a good race.
Absolutely. So, 5 red lights are about to come on. I'm going to ride on board from the perspective of White YY from the 3rd place grid spot. He normally gets a decent start. Here we go. 3 red lights, 4, 5. And we're off. Bit of a long hold there. And White YY actually, I've kind of commentated his cursing, but a very poor start. Ryan B already looking down the inside of him, who might even find himself up into 2nd. Oh, and he's managed to get past 2 of them. Aguapo has basically managed to keep clear of this. Chill and White YY going side by side. This is a very, very dangerous place to go side by side, particularly when you're in a title fight.
Oh, Paul Rouge, and he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, it was always going to happen. The problem is they were almost perfectly alongside, so neither could really give a justification for backing out of it. And now Chill's getting swamped. Harry F. Connor all over the back of Chill.
Oh, it's contact and Chill. Chill's had contact. Oh, he has to cut across the chain. Looks like he's going to keep 4th place. Yes, he is just about, but that is a terrible start. It's not what we need for the race. But D Morts, he's going to be luffing it. He's only P6 now, 2 positions behind his championship rival.
Yeah, absolutely, and there could be damage everywhere. Aledi seems to be falling like a stone through the grid. Connor O'Keefe has obviously been affected, as has White's YY. It's a bit of chaos everywhere, but tell you what, keep an eye out on MCR and Harry and MCFC, because they've risen up, particularly a couple of them have risen up the ranks on those hards, so they're going to be dangerous if this kind of carries on the way it looks like it's going to be, which is the top 5 having incidents, mainly, unfortunately, Chill.
Oh, and Luke loses the rear of the AlphaTauri, loses a position, but he's back on track absolutely fine. And we've already got a 3-second penalty as well for Julie's show. That's not what you need at this time of the race. But like you said, the hard runners making up positions already, they're going to come through. And if the rain's coming later in the race, this could play into their hands perfectly. But Guapo looks to be ahead and absolutely comfortable. But look at the 3 behind. Oh, as the Alfa Romeo goes behind of Ryan, goes off the track, but it looks like he's safe for now. Yeah, does Camke not coming down the inside yet?
I think was... Oh,
contact! Ryan's off.
Wow. I mean, what was really interesting...
P2!
I know. I couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw that, I mean, we said about Camke letting Chill through, but I don't think we imagined that. I'm looking at all of these corner cuts, and I'm starting to wonder if were people just taking evasive action. Are some of these going to get appealed on the back of them probably diving out the way of cars flying everywhere? But we'll have to see that after in the steward's report. But let's have a look. I think Harry F is running very, very high wings, by the way. I might be wrong, but he seems to have...
he's been absolutely swamped on the straights. He's got no slipstream at all. He's definitely waiting for the rain.
Yeah, whereas a Guapo, well, it's hard to judge. I'd be very surprised if he had high wings, but also he's been kind of let free, isn't he? Really, without showing tons of pace. I mean, you'd expect him to be further up the grid, considering the man in second has had 2 incidents where his car's been slowed down mid-apex.
Absolutely. Just right on board with D-Morts here as well. He's kind of stuck now behind Camke, which I guess is kind of what we expected would happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the way we expected it, as we've got a yellow flag, but it looks like it's go back to green now. But yeah, we didn't expect that to happen, but obviously now with that situation, Camke is now in P4, D-Mort's P5, and Camke is on the back of Harry. I mean, obviously Harry's got higher wings, but he doesn't seem to have much grip, unless he's got damage, of course. But it does not look like at the moment that Camke is trying to back up D-Morts into the rest of the pack, so not much gamesmanship going on so far, but that is an option for the Williams team later on in the race. Yeah,
absolutely. Is Harry... I think Harry may have had some damage, but he's got massively out of shape. He's just lost 2 positions in 2 corners. Camke, right, this should be a thing. Oh no, Judy Show. He's lost it on that exit you were talking about earlier. Stavolo is just such a brutal corner in full fuel. It shouldn't be, you feel. Maybe it's a foible of this game, but it is, and it's something that needs to be respected. And it's made him fall foul of it. Camke is using here, he's definitely looking. He sent it up the inside, pretty straightforward move, but slightly naive in my eyes, because well done, you've got past him, but now you've got possibly one of the most overpowered DRS zones in the whole calendar, and you don't have DRS.
It's going to be a good test as well to see if Harry's DRS is useful enough with them higher wings. He's obviously tucked into the slipstream now. Obviously Camke doesn't have slipstream. Obviously with that said, look at D-Mort's behind as well. He wants to keep out of all this. He doesn't want to get into it, or does he? He's going down the inside. Will he try and make a move? No, he won't. And obviously looking at that, Harry's staying on the inside. He's going through, but then of course, look at Camke going back around the outside. Will he make it stick? Yes, he will. D-Mort's, he's going to try and go down the inside of Harry as well. Will he be able to make it going into Rivage here? He's not. He's going to pull out. I think he's playing the long game there, but he keeps it down the inside. His contact. What's going to happen here? There's still more contact. He's pushed off, but D-Mort's is through. That'll be something for the stewards to look at. It looks like hard but clean racing in my opinion. Obviously we'll see the onboards of that, but D-Mort's is through. Will he have damage? Who knows, but now it's Guapo, Chill, Camke and D-Mort's is on the warpath.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not sure Harry F is going to be a fan of either of the title protagonists. He's managed to have scraps for both of them. And fair play, he's only dropped out to 6th, but he's in an interesting position. Once this rain comes out, you've got, oh, and look, he's gone straight back at Matt. Yeah. And that is a great move, to be fair. But again, he's now lost that DRS.
Oh, look at the Rebel down the inside of Matt and Ryan as well. I think there was a bit of contact between Ryan and Matt, the McLaren, of course, and the Alfa Romeo. So that's just let the Red Bull straight through the inside, and they've lost position. Too busy squabbling between themselves. But because of that, the Red Bull's now up into P6.
Yeah, Harry and his teammate. Oh! That was never going to work. You can't go side by side. And he's round. Nightmare for the Ferrari driver. He's just had such a bad season.
Not something Frederick Vasseur would want to see.
No, absolutely not. But something Ferrari fans are probably quite familiar with, sadly. But, yes. Right, D-Mort's. This is quite pivotal, I think, for him, because I think if he can get past Camke, his race pace will get very quickly unlocked. So
Oh,
he
look
is
at that. He's
pushing.
got so much more speed on the exit. And look at that. Kamke already got no ERS. No ERS for Kamke. He's going to swoop down the inside, and Kamke is gone for D-Morts up into P3.
Yep. I think Kamke had a job, and I think he's still trying to attempt to do it, as the rain has started falling on my screen. And I'm actually amazed no one picks up. Of course, everyone went mediums, not hards. It makes complete sense, as J. Luke, I think, has had a spin.
It's been a bad few laps for J League, it must be said. Obviously at the back now. He's still going though.
Wow.
Still going as DRS is disabled. Already the track has changed so quickly. So expect to see everybody in the pits this lap. Person I'm not looking forward to going in the pits would be Kamke. Obviously he's playing the team game anyway, but he's going to get held so much behind QVR Chill.
Yeah, Ryan B also will be a bit of a victim of that. And that will probably be, maybe, and obviously J. Luke potentially as well, but I think the gaps start to get a bit bigger there. Yeah, the track, you can actually see the track
so well already.
That is actually bizarre, and it makes you wonder how brave are you going to be through this corner in sector 3. I forget its name now, but this is the one that gives me nightmares in changing conditions.
I would never want to take this flat. I would not want to be in a league race doing this in this weather. This is dangerous territory, especially for QVR Chill and Martz, obviously second and third. Chill needs something to happen. He needs Martz to have a tough race here. And speaking of which, Martz goes down and loses it. Oh, and he spun! Martz spun, championship leader spun going into the final chicane, but he does head into the pits. He's lost a few positions, but that's going to cost him a lot of time. Ironically and easily for him, he doesn't have anybody to wait for in the pit lane, of course, being the only Aston here, but that is not something he needs to do, and it's going to give Chill more time, and of course that surely means that Martz is going to come out behind the Alphas.
Yeah, wow, that is actually it's so tough through there, and again the conditions just, I can't quite believe. I mean, the poor guys that are further back, they're even more penalised because this track has just gone from nothing to everything already.
Oh! Chill going through into P1. There was the contact between Guapo and Chill coming out the pit lane. It looks like there was a bit of a rear tapping from Chill on Guapo. Nothing that was meant to be done, I'm pretty certain there. But because of that, Chill has gone into the lead. Guapo lost the rear end, and now Chill is in the lead. This is exactly where he needs to be. Obviously, with that said, look at Martz now back down into P5. He's still behind Kamke, even though he had to wait behind Chill. And this is all falling into Chill's hands now. What can they do for the rest of the race?
Yeah, and I tell you who I'm really interested to look at now. Again, J. Luke is just having a nightmare. Really quick driver on his day. He just loves a spin. I think the next game will be a bit kinder for him. But at the moment, he's struggling. Harry F. I really want to see what his pace is like, because he definitely was running something compromised there. So
I agree.
Keep an eye out on him. He might be one of the main beneficiaries. And I think at Guapo, again, I know he's had an incident and he might be a bit ruffled up there, but he's actually lost pace to Chill, and he had a significant advantage. So, again, maybe the opposite true for him.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, Guapo in qualifying was setting amazing times, but obviously with that said, that goes to think that maybe it's because he had a much less downforce on his setup. But with that said, Chill did make a mistake there going into the final part of the lap. So with that said, Guapo is now right on his rear again, going through the final part through Stavolo. Now, like you say, this is hard in the dry. Nobody knows what it's like in the wet. And with that said, Chill loses it, going out of Stavolo, and Guapo's back into the lead. So like we said, Stavolo's in an incredibly hard corner in the dry, and now Chill is really struggling in the wet. Of course, don't forget the intermediates. They're going to be cold. But with that said, Guapo back into P1.
Unbelievable. D-Mort's also back up on the back of Harry, and I'm keeping an eye on this battle with YHYY a bit further down. There's a lot. Do you know what? This has seemed to have equalised things a little bit, and it's really interesting. I wonder also, D-Mort's might not be as confident in these conditions now as a result of that spin. He might just be, he might be thinking to himself, if Chill comes second and I come fifth, it's not the end of the world at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree. Obviously, we've only got one race to go after this, of course. It is a sprint weekend, so there's more points on offer. As we see Matt going through on the Red Bull down the inside, they're going to go side by side through. Oh, no, definitely they're not going to side by side through our Rouge. That would have been a bad idea, especially in the rain. But yeah, Matt through there on the Red Bull. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think D-Mort's now... Oh, there is a bit of contact going up there, to be fair. Doesn't look like they're going to get much of a slipstream, of course. There's no DRS here in intermediate weather. So yeah, Matt is down the inside. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Obviously, D-Mort's, he's playing the long game now. He wants to make sure that this season is closed out with a championship victory. If I was him, I would not be taking any risks. If I had to take P5 with Chill in P2, I'd call that a good day's work.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'll tell you, though, someone I'm keeping an eye on is Connor O'Keefe. Because obviously he was spun early. He's managed to work his way up to 10th. And he seems to have he's making a few moves already. He might come back into this to some degree. Maybe challenging for someone like Matt Tibos. But I suspect the damage has been done maybe for a top 5, but there's still a long way to go with this.
Absolutely. I think this is really where we're going to see now the wet weather runners, the people who've got the higher downforce, the people who are going to come through as Ben gets a 3-second time penalty, and not exactly what he needs as well, but obviously running down in 16th in the Mercedes, as we see a bit of battling going on further down the field. But yeah, no, absolutely right. I think seeing the wet weather runners now, as I say, that Kamke, maybe he had higher wings because he's pulling in on Chill. Not what Chill needs, not what the team need, but he is staying with them. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes not have the pace, but today he's right on it for a win. Obviously a podium, but can he get the win?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like Harry F as well. Again, if you look at where Harry F and D-Morts are positioned in the title fight, you would think that D-Morts would make very light work of this, and Absolutely. He's not, because I think Harry's got a car set up for these conditions, and D-Mort's interesting there. Loses 2 tenths out of that last corner. I think he's a bit snake bit. I don't think he's going to be putting the power down through there as liberally as he may have if he didn't get spin.
Definitely. I think he's doing the right thing, though. I think he's playing that long game, obviously, like we discussed. Because look, at the end of the Alfa Romeo loses it a little bit off Harry. Speaking of which, now D-Morts actually has a run on him. Will he be able to get it down the inside? That was a very big tank slapper from Harry, but he seems to save it. Is he going to defend it? Well, it doesn't look like he is doing. Does he feel like he's going to go down the inside? Maybe he isn't, but he's going to go around the outside, and D-Morts wisely keeps it down. And behind the Alfa Romeo, he does not want to be caught up in any action today. He wants the most boring race in the world. If it has to be to P5, so be it. But yeah, D-Mort's doing the right thing there. But Harry made a massive mistake. He needs to kind of get back on top of his driving if he wants any chance of getting a podium with the setup he's got. Yeah,
no, 100%. I think Chill, this is almost the ideal situation. I'm still actually amazed. I think weirdly, if we froze this now and we gave these results, they'd both be happy. Also, it would mean Chill and Kamke pretty much are nailed on for the constructors. And I do feel for D-Morts because his teammate is not here today, so I wouldn't have cheered him up. He's having to fight this one by himself.
Absolutely. I think the Williams are doing this perfectly, though. I mean, obviously, with that said, Kamke, of course, is right on the back of him now. I feel like maybe Chili's getting slightly held up by Guapo, not in terms of pace, but obviously having that car in front of you in the wet weather, it can be quite distracting. Obviously, he's going to be doing everything he can to solidify this position. As Harry gets 3-second time penalty as well at the back of the field. Obviously, a lot of penalties going down towards the rear. As D-Morts gets past Harry. D-Morts past Harry. I'm not sure if Harry made a mistake there. I was not riding on board with him, but D-Morts is past Harry before they even got to Blanchimont. So my thought is that he might have made a mistake going into Stavolo. But D-Morts now into P4. He's only a few positions away from his championship rival.
Yep, and now it's just getting better and better for him. Realistically, he just needs to run his own race here. Just relax. If the guys up front make a mistake, which in these conditions wouldn't surprise you. And also, there's a big roll of a dice here coming up, because we are going to apparently go back to dry conditions, allegedly. If that happens, that also can just throw up some very, very, very odd things that can occur. There's a safety car at any point. If someone tries to chance their arm and stick on some softs while it's still bucketing it down, if it dries as quick as it got wet, then it could be a very easy free win for someone if they're mad enough to try that. All sorts can happen, I think, from here.
Definitely. I think Guapo as well is doing a very good race here. I think Guapo obviously doesn't always, we see a little bit of a tank slap from Kamke, but he holds it well. Guapo up in the front, obviously he's a second ahead of Chill, and of course Kampe behind them. He's doing everything he needs to do. He's not taking any risks. He's just doing what he needs to keep the pair of Williams behind, which obviously must be scary to see as J-League gets another penalty as well. It's obviously been a tough day for him. But yeah, Guapo doing a brilliant job so far. If he keeps this pace up, no matter what safety cars, no matter what weather, he should be nailed on for a victory if he keeps this pace.
Yeah, and I suppose the only thing to consider, D-Morts will want to gap this group now for one simple reason. If the conditions are going to go dry, the front three, obviously they're fighting each other, but they've got the confidence to know that even if they stay out a lap too late, they're probably going to come out ahead of fourth place. Because D-Morts doesn't really have that luxury at the moment. He needs to gap Harry almost to make sure that the lap he pits isn't going to be... Oh, as Matt Tibos nearly sticks it in the wall. That was unbelievably close. Great save. He's only lost... Yeah, it's that corner. It is that corner. So deadly.
The curves are so hard. Oh, he's got a 3-second time penalty for Harry. That changes so much for him. That's not going to be what he needs. Obviously, you see Conor O'Keefe as well. I think he's got 6 seconds already. So Harry is going to have to do something of a miracle here to see if he can get back towards the podium. But yeah, no, Matt, he's had a race of tribulations, as Matt, hasn't he? He's still in P7. He's not got any penalties. He's having a great race, really, considering the trials and tribulations he's had. But it could be better. He just needs to keep hitting the back stuff.
I think he's also running quite a low setup, because I was just seeing his time to YY come down, and it's coming down abnormally quick, considering he's not using any battery. So maybe this is just a bit of a hold on through these conditions kind of situation for him.
I think everybody's settling in now, aren't they? They're really settling into the race. When you look at the top three, 2 seconds between them all. As Conor O'Keefe actually gets back past Ryan, so Ryan tried to get through, and he's gone back through Ryan, actually, should I say. So Ryan's through O'Keefe, and as you see the Mercedes actually in Alpha behind, and there's a bit of contact, but no, they're absolutely fine. They're absolutely fine going through into Silicon. But yeah, no, I think everyone's settling into the race now. I think everybody knows, obviously, there's a dry patch coming towards the end. And the top three really are just sinking into this part of the race now. And of course, D-Mortstell stuck in a bit of no man's land, really. As we've got a yellow flag, who's gone off? I believe it's a Rivage. Oh, there's a bit of contact. I think one of the Ferraris, maybe? No, it's an Alfa Romeo. It's Ryan. Ryan around. No safety car, no damage on the car at all. But I think he must have lost it coming out of the exit of Rivage. But yeah, I think everyone's settling down apart from Ryan.
Yeah, and what's nice to see is that I think Conor is waiting for Ryan, which is actually really nice. But I didn't catch the incident, but he seems to be going purposely quite slow. And then we'll rejoin just behind him, which is nice to see. You don't often see that. Well, you don't see it enough for me. As MCFC, he's quietly having a good race, actually. Didn't qualify very well. He's going side by side.
Still side by side. Oof.
Great move. Blimey. Yeah, he's doing really well. I mean, you'd think that maybe this is his stealing unless something happens, because that gap is... Well, I say that...
as Matt gets that 3-second penalty.
Maybe it's not going to be his stealing.
I would say his curse.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly with Harry with a pin as well. If he can keep moving forward. I'll tell you who is moving forward. It's D Morts, as we have Judy show. Awful show from him. And last week I was accidentally calling him Julie Slow. But today, unfortunately, I think that might be a moniker that fits. But hopefully they hang in, because they're not lapped. If a safety car comes in, they're very much back in this race. The back three.
Just looking at the top two now, Chill's really kind of falling behind from Guapo. Look at Camke. Camke is right on the back of him. Obviously, if he had DRS, it might be a closer race. Obviously, wouldn't it be in the wet weather? They don't. But Camke is right on the back now of Chill. Who knows? Maybe they'll think of... I mean, we've seen it happen before. Swap the car, see if you can have a go at Guapo, and then push him back into Chill for the championship. But at the moment, I mean, Camke, he's been a brilliant rear guard for Chill.
Yeah, 100%. And it's such a desperate situation, because they'll see the time with D Morts coming down and down, which it is. He will arrive at some point, I think, into the back of them. Especially because Camke being that kind of length of time behind you, like you said, it is distracting, particularly in these conditions. There's no real benefit to being 6 tenths behind someone in these conditions. I think all it does is cost you a couple of tenths a lap, and it wouldn't surprise me if he had the pace on Chill in the way it is, as we have Harry retiring. I would imagine that's probably rear wing damage of some sort, which is quite easy to pick up around here if you get a full tank slap.
Guapo out in the lead, 1.3 seconds now. He's riding on board with him. He's really starting to utilise the ERS as well. I was thinking this before. He has a lot more ERS than anybody else in the top three. We've got Chill, and of course we've got Camke as well, who are hovering around the 30% mark. And Guapo, more than enough. He's got 60%, and that's after using it all the way down from Stavelo into the bus stop chicane. So, yeah, this could be something that really kind of changes the output of the race. Obviously, we thought Chill might be on the back of Guapo, but he's just doing the perfect race. He really is. As we actually see Harry End, his car is still out on the track, going up a Rouge, a glitch that we did not need right now, but nevertheless.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully that doesn't cause problems. Absolutely fine.
It's Judy show with another pen. And for some reason as well, the car doesn't ghost when it's... DNF'd like that, which can be a bit distracting. But in certain tracks, particularly something like Imola, comes to mind, because that is nasty, just with the pit exit where it is anyway. There's a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, have I jinxed it? No.
Julie show with another spin.
Yeah, I think Connor's had a really frustrating race. I don't think he'll be particularly happy. Again, caught up in an incident in the first lap, which has kind of stifled any of his progression. Seems to have had another incident Ryan B, where he let his man through, which I think was good to do. And Chill's clearly had another mistake somewhere, because he's now 2.1.
Yeah, I think he had a mistake coming out of no name corner. I think look at that now, Cam K. And not only that, D Morts is in the same pitch now. D Morts is closing in. Williams really need to think about now what they're going to do. Are they going to let Cam K through and push him through and see if they get Guapo, or are they going to use him as a rear guard? As we see, Ben Scott as well has actually lost it going through turn one, but this is where the tactics come into play now.
Yep, and in some ways, this is D Morts probably in some ways is probably thinking, oh no, I don't actually want to be around these guys. I'll take fourth. I'm only losing 6 points. He's going to have a 15-point gap going into the last race. Does he really want to roll the dice? I mean, if he's got the pace, he's going to go for the move. It's just what we do. But in a weird way, I think half of his head will be thinking, I wish you lot would actually just crack on and finish where you are, and I'll just take fourth. No problem.
I agree. I completely agree. I think, look at it now, like, obviously he's got the pace. He's only 3.7 behind the lead now after all the trials and tribulations, obviously half spinning before the wet weather came in. He does have the pace, but you're absolutely right. This isn't about winning the race now for him. It's about winning a world championship. So if he can stick behind these guys and just keep this position going into the final race, 6 points is not a lot to lose going into a sprint weekend where, realistically, you want to be the leader going into it, because who knows what can happen in the sprint weekend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's a healthy gap. And the beauty of it is it doesn't feel quite as big of a jeopardy, because you've got 2 bites of it as well, which I know there's more points to make up, but you probably feel less pressure as a leader going into that as a last race, I would imagine. I've never been there, and I'd love to be next game. I certainly won't be this game, but I imagine it maybe takes the edge off a little bit. You know, you've only really got to perform in one race and not have a disaster in the other, I suppose. And he's had another error. He's gone really deep, and that's why he's using a bit of battery. And I think Cam K genuinely has no ambition, and fair play, I think it's the right thing to do. And he would want it the other way round if it was a shoe on the other foot. I don't think he's got any ambition to actually overtake Chill, but the problem is, this is all well and good if it works and they keep D Morts behind, but if it doesn't, they're in trouble.
They are going to be in trouble. I think Cam K, though, this is the moment now. He has to make the decision. Will he do the team game? Will he be selfish? We don't know. Obviously, like you say, Cam K, not usually the man who has all the pace in the world, but on this day, on this racetrack, this weekend, he's got a lot of pace. Maybe he wants to win the race. Maybe he wants to get a second place. Or is he going to play that team game? I think looking at D Morts as well, he's really pushing ahead now. He's really getting close. It's within a second. It could be it for D Morts. He could get through. It could be easy. As we have another spinner, which I think is J Luke again, actually, who won. It's been a terrible race for him, but he still keeps on going, which is what we like to see. But yeah, D Morts right on the back of him now. What's going to happen? Obviously, we are expecting the rain to lighten up as well. Will it be dry before the end of the race? Who knows? Maybe some different tactics will come into play. But for now, it looks like D Morts is going to get right on the back of Cam K. Oh, he does actually make a bit of a mistake. It must be said, actually, D Morts going up Eau Rouge, just riding a ball with him then. And he's lost a bit of time. So who knows what's going to happen? Only halfway through the race.
Yeah, it's actually quite bizarre, the kind of the meta game of this, because if this was early on in the season, I'd be backing D Morts to absolutely be flying onto the back. But yeah, I wonder. Definitely, he's probably caught in two minds, which is always a bit dangerous actually for anyone that plays any kind of thing. Oh, J Luke is out. Oh, it's in the pits. We can breathe, but. There's a lot going on in the midfield as well. I think that Harry F has kind of found himself in this strange kind of second train. It's almost like a group LMP2 kind of class, I think, compared to the front four. And there's
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. The top four are kind of miles ahead now. I mean, Harry obviously put up a really good fight against D Morts, but obviously he's sunk now into that fifth place position, really trying to hold it. Obviously, if he holds that position from Matt, obviously we'll finish ahead because of course they've both got 3-second penalties. But now they've got to think about everybody behind. But no, you're absolutely right. I think the field's really starting to spread out. We've got that LMP1, LMP2. Oh, there's D Morts as well, riding on ball with him again. Almost loses it, and now he's lost more time to the leaders. So maybe now he's starting to feel the pressure going so close to Cam K like that. I mean, we said it before, obviously, following a car in front's hard as it is, but obviously doing it in the wet, it's not going to be any easier. And now we've actually mentioned it as well, it must be said, the driving overall has been really good today. No safety cars, no virtual safety cars. everybody keeping it out the barriers for the most part. It's been a really good driving standards race, which we'd love to see in Division 3 here in League of Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always been known as the slightly, I suppose, rustic division with some driving standards. Quick people, maybe with not the most common sense, but this season has been turned on its head. They've done really well, I think, as a standard, and they've definitely kind of removed that stigma of some of the more kind of robust driving that has gone on here in the past. As Harry is under pressure a bit here from Matsibos, who I did fancy to have lower wings, but it's very strange. He's not gaining tons of time off of Harry. I wonder if Harry's exhausted that battery, but they both have, as it turns out. So.
Yeah. To be fair, I think this is something we really need to keep an eye on, because obviously Matt, like you said, and Harry, of course, have no battery left. But looking behind, YHY, 90% battery left to use. He can use that whenever he wants, wherever he wants, and he can get right onto the back of these two, which, let's not forget, both have 3-second time penalties. So maybe he'll decide to keep it there. Maybe he'll just decide to defend from MCFC. Who knows? Obviously, the Ferrari's coming together before, and he's obviously having a bit of a drive back through the field. But yeah, look at that battery from him. 98% going through Pouhon for YHY. He needs to start using it.
Yeah, he's committed my cardinal sin, which is having 100%. Because you can't go to 101, so you might as well use a bit. You're just actually costing yourself lap time at this point. So just give it a squirt, make sure it doesn't get to 100. It's all good at being in the 90s, it won't matter. It's still about 90% more than what everyone else has around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right on board with Guapo at the front as well. The car just looks on rails. He is having a brilliant race out front. Even though he didn't seem to have much downforce compared to everybody else, it doesn't seem to bother him. He's just driving the track. He's not had any problems. He's just driving it so beautifully, and he's keeping that one. I've been looking at the gap, and the gap stayed 1.5 to 2 seconds ever since he was back in the lead after Chill made that mistake. And he's just driving a brilliant race. I think this is a drive of the season performance, in my opinion, from Guapo.
One thing I'm looking at here is, actually the lap time there was a second a lap quicker. There's no rain falling from this sky. I'm beginning to think as well, one of the reasons, other than the fact he's driving fantastically, is his setup more geared towards dry conditions than those behind him, and that's why he's finding even more pace all of a sudden, because that was a second a lap quicker than his previous effort, and I think this will go back to dry. Now, the interesting thing is, and again, I don't know how much you've driven inters in the dry on this game. Now, back in the day, it was a cardinal sin. You'd lose, they would be undrivable. Very oddly, in this game, that actually isn't the case. You don't lose tons and tons of time. They almost work like an extra hard almost in this one, and they don't overheat, they don't go crazy.
It looks like as well, like you say, if we kind of get the rain stopping, like you said, and obviously the track starting to dry up, it might not even be worth, like you said, obviously Inter's being still okay to use on a drying track, it might not even be worth pitting for dries. We might not get that time gain. But looking at the Williams, if we do pit and they do start to go on to dries, this is going to be terrible for them, because this is instantly going to put D Morton into P3 if he has a standard pit stop, because Kamke is going to have to queue behind Chill, and just like that, it's going to be back to square one. He's not going to be able to utilise him. So who knows, maybe this is time for Chill to kind of let Kamke through, or to have to do some sort of alternate strategy, because otherwise they're going to lose a position to D Morts, and that is not what he needs in the championship battle.
It's really interesting, because part of me would, at this point, it's a really good point, I hadn't even thought of that, part of me would let him go, and my job would be to try and keep D Morts behind whilst trying to get 3 seconds, and then saying to Kamke, swap back later if the mission is successful, so to speak. But it's very easy to say that, out here, not under pressure in a drying track with a lot on the line. But D Morts, though, actually, interestingly, he's kind of dropped off a tiny bit, but nothing major. Perhaps a slight little error, but yeah, it's definitely drying. I'm going to have another little look at just. Let's not look at someone who is performing incredibly well, such as a Grappo. Let's actually look at D Morts' times. The times are coming down. They really are. When it is soft, well, I assume they'll go softs until the end. Pretty much that's no kind of secret, I would assume. When that is, I don't really know, and it wouldn't surprise me if maybe one or two gambled now.
Yellow flag.
Ooh,
Mercedes lost it at the top of the comp. Oh, it's
yeah.
Connor.
Oh, in fact, Ryan B has done it. We've missed this. I've completely missed this. Ryan B.
Oh, he's on mediums, yeah.
So, interesting to see. I'm not going to ruin it for... Oh, well, he's gained tons of time to Connor because Connor span. So, I was getting a bit excited there, but I wonder if it is quite right. I'm not 100% sure, and I won't say too much.
Yellow flag, Mercedes off again, and P1. No contact into the barrier, though, once again. And to be fair, that's because Ben is also on mediums, so he's not found it easy going out of the pits on mediums. Obviously, a person to look out for, though, like I said, is Ryan. Let's see if he can kind of start closing in on everyone. Is DRS enabled yet? I don't think it is, but yes, everyone's pitting.
Oh, no.
Everyone's into the pits. Oh, and Mort stays out. Mort stays out as just Kamke, and that is going to be a big decision from Mort. I don't think it's going to be the right one either. I think Guapo and obviously as well Chill, I think they've done this perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Kamke, obviously his hands were tied being behind, but D Mort's, he stayed out.
That is really bizarre to me. The only problem is with the way the pit lane is, it's actually quite hard to know whether people are pitting. Because
very true.
The line is basically the same, I mean, pretty much. So, I do feel for him in a way. I think if he knew, perhaps he just reacted too late. I don't know. I'd have been tempted to take half a second off there, just to see what they would have done. But again, hindsight.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at these gaps now. So obviously Guapo 15.6 behind Mort. Who knows, maybe, just maybe, if these tyres still work on a drying track, can they stay out till the end? I doubt it, but who knows? Who knows, as Ryan gets another 3-second time penalty. But at the moment, because obviously the mediums need to get up to temperature. Oh, as you see, Mort's go very wide there coming through Puon, but he still actually holds it, so no penalties for him. It might not be enough. Maybe Mort's is thinking about staying out to the end. Maybe that's his only option. We don't know. I mean, I'm expecting him to come into the pit lane, but that is always an option. He's not losing a lot of time, but then the times are starting to come down. He's lost 4 tenths in the middle sector. This is where the race is going to be made. Chill's gone on to soft tyres, and of course Guapo's on medium, so that's another battle to look out for as well. Can Chill close in with 5 laps to go on Guapo and get that race victory, which would also mean that it's so much easier for him going into the sprint race? But yeah, looking at Guapo, he does not have the grip on these tyres so far. He just does not have it.
I cannot believe anyone's gone onto mediums on a drying track. I think that's crazy because it's so much easier to get temperature into the softs. I'm absolutely amazed. I mean, Chill has gained a bomb of time, you would assume, on these front two by how much he's gained on a Guapo, who has also gained on the front two. And they're going to have that warm-up phase. So
absolutely. Let's see how much Mortz loses from this as well, because look at that, the race leader's already going past them, he's only just put his tyres on. He's put mediums on as well. D Mort's on medium tyres, Cam K on softs. What's happening here? The Alfa Romeo of Harry might actually be able to go around the outside. Obviously, don't forget, they've got warmer tyres now. So let's have a look what D Mortz does. Obviously, he goes out now, he's on mediums, cold tyres. I'd really be looking now to see if Harry, as we see Ryan sets a fast hour 46.6, more cumbersome of what we see usually. But Harry's going to be right in the back of D Mortz as he needs to get his tyres up to temperature.
And look at this. Chill as DRS. And he's reined him in. And now he's got a 3-second gap. I tell you what, these lads have all done this perfectly. I mean, what an incredible... I mean, we thought they're back against the wall, but D Mort's kind of fumbled it, really. Because he'd be in for a comfortable third, realistically. Even if he'd have stuck the mediums on, he'd have been in for a comfortable third. And
Oh, it's the wall! It's the wall, front wing damage, I'm sure. Sure, front wing damage. I saw something come off there. Surely he's got something of damage there. That is not what he needs to be doing. He's on the soft tyres. He can reel him in for the victory. What's going to happen now?
That is... Now, I said it. I called him a bottle job for the Netherlands, but he did have stick drift, and the game just basically flung him into a wall. That wasn't stick drift. That was a skill issue, I think, Mr. Chill. So, I tell you what, has he got away with it?
I think he might have done. He's still within 0.6 of a second. Maybe it's a tyre advantage, but let's not forget as well, Belgium, most of it is straights or full throttle areas, so you don't really need your front wing for much of it, just the tight and twisty section in the middle. But I think that he's going to get this overtake done going into the Lacombe chicane. Now, looking at this, Guapo, he's had such a brilliant race. He's gone from pole position. He lost the lead ever so slightly for like half a lap, back into first place, and he's done everything right, but he's put the wrong tyres on, and it looks now like Chill's going to be able to get him.
Yeah, I mean, The only thing I would say is obviously Chill had 2 incidents early on. I don't know what the nature of them was. I've no idea. But a 5-second penalty is a fairly common penalty that you get dished out here.
Oh!
Ooh, he's definitely got damage. He's almost certainly got damage.
Absolutely. That could be crucial.
Yeah, a 5-second pen is something that you can get dished out. It's quite a common penalty if you're deemed at fault. So, does Kamke back up even more? Because D Mortz is not close enough. He's not, and unless something changes, but I think Chill will be kicking himself. There's no need to overdrive this car. You've got the tyre advantage. You were in DRS. It's such a strange mistake.
It is a strange mistake. He's still obviously within 5/10 as we can see, but as we saw going through Radion and Eau Rouge there, it's just he's got too much understeer now. He cannot get the cars into the corners that he needs to get close enough into the DRS zone. Obviously going into this tight twisty part here, the tyres will give him an advantage, but obviously the full throttle part of Eau Rouge and Radion, obviously he doesn't need the tyres, so that's just going to cause him damage going through.
Yeah, and even here, I mean, you could get greedy there, couldn't you, potentially at Stavolo, because as we have a yellow, and that
is it a Ferrari?
Oh, it's MCFC.
Oh, it is MCFC. He made such a good decision as well to go on the softs, but he's in the barrier.
Tell you what,
3/10 now. 3/10 between the top two.
He's got about a 10% battery advantage. He needs to time this perfectly. He's around again. I think he's lit up his tyres, and he's got a big gap to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, be a brave man in a way to do it now, because I think he is. He's decided, and he'd be mad to back against it now.
So let's see what he's like through Eau Rouge. It looks like he's been able to keep it on track. It's going to be a tough move for him going into. Oh, he's going to ERS. Guapo's no ERS. That is it, all gone. Is he going to be able to keep it in the straight line? Yes, he is. He's got the straight line speed, though. He's got the straight line speed. He's going to go around the outside. No, he's not. He hangs it out to dry, and Guapo, he's got that straight line speed. He's got the setup that he needs, and he stays in P1. As we've seen Matt go through the inside as well. We've got another yellow flag in the final sector, but this is not what he expected. Side by side as well with Matt as well, and of course with YHY. It looks like good racing. Matt's got no ERS left, pushed him slightly wide, but it's good racing. We see the Alfa Romeo as well of Harry trying to come through as well, and it's ever so close. Are they going to contact through Rivage? No, they're not. It's good, clean racing. Harry gets through, and looking at that, it's great racing between the two. But Guapo, he's got the straight line speed. It looks like he's got Chill's number.
He does. I tell you what, Matt. Ooh, I thought they were going to go too wide there. They are literally back and back, as MCFC, I think, he's retired in the pit lane. But Matt needs to fly away from them. Oh, he's getting pushed around by Harry.
Oh, he spins! YHY in the wall.
Yeah.
He's having such a good race. Such a good race.
Awful. Chill. I think Chill, I mean, he needs to be careful. He's made a mistake somewhere, because he's now nearly. That battery use, look, it's killed him. If he gets out of a second, I think this is race done. He's going to be lucky. He just needs to now keep the battery. I mean, he's not going to listen, unfortunately. But I would just keep it now. I suppose it's tough, because I think he doesn't have a straight line advantage. So yeah, maybe that's not necessarily the best idea.
He had to do it early. He had to do it early. Look, let's not forget the soft tyres as well. They're going to start to wear off quicker. They'll probably have 5-6 laps of optimal speed, really, and now the medium's going to come into their own. So last few laps, it's going to kind of neutralise the tyre advantage. So he had to do it then, but he put the car in the wall, got the damage. And looking at it now, it looks like Guapo's had such a good race. He's going to fly off into the distance.
Yeah, got Matt on Harry here. I would assume, I'm just going to bring up exactly how many penalties these guys have got. Oh, Matt actually has 6 seconds, unfortunately. But he will get the move done, but he's not going to have the pace to gap Harry by 3 seconds, you would suspect. And Chill has gone right. Has Chill made another massive error? Look at this.
Yep, looks like it.
What is going on? And he's very lucky who's behind him. I would say that. I think he's incredibly lucky who's behind him, because otherwise he might be in serious trouble.
I think you're right. I think it's consolidation time now. It really is. No more warnings, no more penalties for them. They really need to just keep it on the track. I mean, yeah, Chill, he's going to take a few points out of D Mortz. I'm sure he would have wanted more, obviously putting those softs on, but realistically, having Kamke there to hold Mortz off, I think he's going to accept this as a good race if he can keep ahead of his team.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, he's going to need a favour from him, because You would get this done normally, very comfortably, because he's clearly got wing damage. And you've got 2 DRS zones, one of which is the most powerful DRS zone possible. Look, I tell you what, Kamke, he's not using.
Not giving up, is he?
Well, I think the issue is also he needs to keep the gap, doesn't he, to over a second outside of this zone. So they both need to.
They have a problem now. They have a big problem. Chill's got no ERS left, and looking at Mort's right behind, he's going to take any opportunity he can. Kamke, they have got a bit of time in between. Is he going to do it? Is he going to try and take the overtake? He's not using any ERS, so he's definitely playing the team game. And I have to respect that as well from Kamke. Like you said before, Mark, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm sure he expects it as well. Playing that team game, protecting Chill, getting them extra points for the team, and taking points away, crucially, from D Morts as we go into the final race of the season. As we see Matt going around the outside of Harry as well. Yes, he keeps it into the Lacombe chicane, keeps that through, and it's a good move there. No ERS left, last lap of the race. And out front, Guapo, 2.5 seconds now. But looking at this, D Morts, this is the race to look at. Look how close he is now to Kamke and Chill. It doesn't matter what Kamke wants to do. D Morts wants to overtake.
Yeah, this is actually really, really tough, because Kamke's going to have to use to defend, unless the only way would be to defend very unnaturally almost through this sector, I suppose, and try to create a bit of a gap, which is not what he's done. Chill could lose 2 positions here.
Oh, penalty! Oh. Penalty for D Morts. That changes everything. It does not matter now. He can overtake. He's going to lose crucial points here in the championship. And that from him on the last lap of the race is the biggest mistake he could have made in this championship.
Wow. That is absolutely bizarre. As a Guapo, I will go over the line with him, because I don't think anything's really going to happen, as he does come over the line. And he will win. A very, very good drive from him. Chill. Wow. You've got a lot to be thankful for there. Kamke in third, D Morts, it's really frustrating. He will know that was a chance there on the last lap. But Harry F. Oh, Harry F gets jumped by Mr. Ruto, who's kind of come from nowhere. And Ryan B, who obviously had that incident where he was span up into 7th. Some really kind of under the radar races there from Ryan B and Mr. Ruto.
I think Mr. Wuter definitely there as well. I think a shout there for driver there, I must admit. P5, like you say, very kind of under the radar race, but a great result for the Red Bull.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. Wow, that was absolutely. That was really interesting. Without tons and tons and tons of drama, but it was always finely poised, wasn't it? Especially with the nature of what was going on, as we still had people coming around. Actually, such a long lap here. I think we forget that sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, it definitely was a slow burn. I think the start was good. I think we saw some. I mean, main thing for me actually, I mentioned I was expecting it, but Kamke, arguably driver of the day performance from him as well. Like you said, sometimes we don't see him at the top, but incredible race from him. I think he played the team game perfectly, and like you said, QBR Chill has a lot to be thankful for from Kamke. Yeah, I think a very interesting race going into, of course, the final race of the season, sprint weekend in Brazil next weekend, before, of course, the next game, F1 23. It is all to play for. I'm very excited to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, for me, if you wanted my 3 picks for the Twitter vote, I'd probably obviously go with a Guapo. I would go with Kamke. I wouldn't go with Chill because of that mistake. I think he's cost himself 7 points there. And I'd probably chuck in Mr. Wuter, because it's very. He seems like he's just had an absolutely kind of quiet as a mouse race and just snuck up and kept it pen free, which I'm always a fan of. So I would actually probably throw his name into the books again. D Morts and Chill, the 2 title protagonists, making quite bad errors, I think.
Yep. No, definitely. I think D Morts will be absolutely kicking himself as well. I mean, obviously, if he came into this race now and said, obviously, he could finish 4th, just 2 positions behind Chill, he probably would have taken it. But going into them final few corners of the last lap, it was all there to fight for. And he made that mistake. So, yeah. But going into next week, it's going to be a brilliant title decider, I think.
Yeah, what I would say is that next week we should, we'll obviously have yourself taking the lead, so we'll be able to do the end of season kind of interviews with the main protagonists. Unfortunately, I've got to go set up a lobby for D4, so I'd love to have a chat with these guys, but we're not going to be able to this week on that basis. But yeah, any final thoughts from yourself at all?
Yeah, well, First thing, I'll say thank you to you, Mark, first of all, for obviously having me here in the commentary box today. I've had a lot of fun, actually. A lot of fun. It's good to get back into commentating. Obviously, very, very surprising race in certain ways. But what I will say is, going into Brazil, it is poised exactly how we need it for a brilliant title decider.
Yeah, no, fair. Yeah, apologies, Jill. It's because of our slight technical gremlins, but I'll pop that in the chat to them so they get it. But that's all from us. And next week is going to be where you want to be, I think. Obviously D1 as well, but yeah, this is going to be a very exciting one, I suspect. Right.